And Father, we release the Holy Ghost. Fill us afresh. Fill us afresh to be committed. Fill us afresh to do your work. Fill us afresh, oh God, to have a love and a fervor for you that we have never felt before. Now, Holy Spirit, arise as the Son of God will rise with healing in his wings. God, we worship you today. We thank you for healed bodies. We thank you for minds that are functioning. We thank you for families that are in unity. We thank you, oh God, that we're blessed coming in and coming out. We thank you, oh God, that our bodies are totally whole in the name of Jesus. We thank you that our family members and those connected to us will function as one unit according to the word and the counsel of God. And Father, right now we lift up holy hands, and right now I release a fresh anointing of the Holy Ghost and fire. Let the presence of God, let the presence of God infiltrate and emanate and infuse the very atmosphere. We thank you for what you're doing now. We thank you, blessed Holy Spirit, that you're filling us afresh, that every empty part of us you are filling to overflowing. And God, we receive it right where you are. Lift up your hands and receive the blessing of the Lord that makes rich. Receive the peace of God that passes all understanding. Receive his grace which is sufficient. Receive the anointing that will break every yoke and every chain. God, we worship you today. We honor you today. We bless you today. And we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
A blessed and pleasant evening to you. We want to welcome you to this our live broadcast right here on Caribbean Gospel Radio FM. I am Monica Dennis Harlequin, aka Dr. Monica, sitting inside the program this evening. It is called Up Close and Personal. We want to welcome our affiliate partner GL365, broadcasting with us out of Houston, Texas. DJ Roy and the crew. We are live on YouTube on the GL365 YouTube app, as well as the other apps that they have on the market. We want to say thank you so much, GL365, for broadcasting us this evening. Want to welcome those who are with us on TuneIn Radio, Nobex Radio, Online Radio Box, Radio Garden, YouTube family, Facebook family, those who are with us at our home on the World Wide Web at www.caribbeangospelradiofm.com. We want to thank you. We welcome you aboard a special evening where we will be talking to a very special young lady. Oh, I just love her. She is awesome, a phenomenal woman, and she is none other than Alice Yancey Teague. We will be talking with her momentarily. She is running as a write-in independent candidate, 2020 presidential candidate, and boy, am I excited. And I want to thank you for coming on out this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you are. We understand that you're coming in globally to support Alice Yancey Teague. I am so delighted that you're here, and more so that she is here. We're going to bring her on momentarily, but guess what? She is a U.S. presidential candidate, and so we have to do this the right way. Shall we stand for this? Thank you so much for that. Of course, we have the other verses that we would have loved to play, but because we started later than we had planned to, I definitely have to cut it right here. Thank you so much.
Holy Spirit, come and be with us.
Guide and enlighten us.
Help us this night and every day to do your will.
To be open to your inspiration.
And to allow our lives simply to be reflections of your creative power.
My name is Omar Ward. I'm from the Bronx. I teach at St. Helena's Elementary School, and this is my prayer for America.
My name is Mayelin Canizares. I'm from Santa Clara, Cuba, and this is my prayer for America.
And we ask only your inspiration
To guide us and lead us.
that we may spend the brief days of our lives
Doing your will as best we can.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and this is my prayer for America.
I'm Martha McQuitty from New Orleans, Louisiana, and this is my prayer for America.
God bless anyone who supports American values, because this is the greatest place on the planet.
Tracy Jones, and I'm from Chicago.
My name is Jim Campbell. I'm from New Jersey, and this is my prayer for America.
And we need a lot of prayers. We need the family to get together again like we used to.
Life in general would just be much better.
I'm Catherine Rodriguez, and this is my prayer for the world.
I chose to follow Jesus. And if you do,
He will never, ever, ever lead you astray. Amen.
We come from so many different places, so many backgrounds. But guess what? Those of us who are citizens here, it makes us all American. Today, I want to introduce to us a woman of the soil. She believes in the land of the free and the home of the brave. She is Alice Yancey Teague, daughter of Wilda Juanita Yancey Jones of Chicago, the granddaughter of a sharecropper Crescent and Darlene Yancey from Paris, Tennessee. Alice was born in Chicago, currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia for the last 9 years. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my greatest pleasure to bring her on the camera. There you're looking at what I'm hoping to be, or who I'm hoping to be, the next president of the United States of America. She currently resides in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a member of Stonecrest Church of Christ in McDonough, Georgia. She was raised by her mother's sisters in Chicago, Mary Floyd, Nancy B. Jefferson, both from Chicago. Her mother, Nancy B. Jefferson, was a civil rights pioneer. Nancy was known as the Mother Teresa of the Joan of Arc on the west side of Chicago. In early days, Alice lived in public housing development. During her grammar school years, then relocated to the west side of Chicago, Jackson Boulevard to be exact, with her adopted mother, Nancy B. Jefferson. In the 60s, her uncle Wayne Yancey was a freedom rider during the Jim Crow law. He died in a suspicious car accident. Alice has over 14 years of experience in responsibilities in the public eye and governmental sectors. In the early 80s, Alice worked for the VA hospital in Chicago. Her family's background was involved in the political arena. Alice is currently involved in her community as a community organizer and working with civil rights issues. Alice earned her BS degree in criminal justice with a concentration in Homeland Security, FBI at Strayer University, 2016. Alice is continuing her education, working on her master's degree in public administration and JD in law. Alice has gained excellent recognition and working knowledge of administrative responsibilities. She's focused on current political issues on the local and state levels. She formerly held the position as chairperson for National Action Network in Newton County, Georgia, an organization that fights for the rights of justice and equal opportunities for all people, regardless of their citizenship, criminal record, demographics, economic status, ethnicity, gender, race, and religion. Just thought you'd like to know she's a member of the 4th Congressional Freedom of Democratic Women, member of the Women's Empowerment out of New York, and a member of the ambassador team at Strayer University. She was nominated and selected to be part of the 2019 Kimberly Chance Atkins Foundation's Wall of Hope. Power, that's Professional Organization of Women of Excellence, honors Alice Yancey Teague, Woman of Empowerment, in 2019. PoliticsOne.com qualifies Alice Yancey Teague for the presidential candidate for the 2020 presidential election. Cambridge Who's Who Registry of Executives and Professionals qualified Alice for the inclusion in the 2007 to 2008 edition. She is the founder of Bridging Together, an organization designed for the support of the homeless. She's a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition, founded by Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., Georgia chapter. She's the founder of the Women of Color organization for women with breast cancer in Newton County, Georgia. Alice herself is a breast cancer survivor. She has passion and understanding of what women experiencing during their difficult journey. Alice wrote her first book, You Are What You Eat, in 2010. Alice's book was published by the Author House Publishing Company, and we're expecting some more books to be published soon. Alice continues her training and certification. She is certified as a mediator in civil court, domestic court, criminal court for the state of Georgia. She has certification in FEMA Incident and Command System, Leadership Influence, and in Management System in Emergency Planning. She has a certification in Community Civil Training through Covington Community Police Academy. She's a mega speaker for Fix My Credit in the Metro Atlanta area. She's founder of Break Every Chain Re-Entry Program for ex-offenders. Let me say that again. She's founder of Break Every Chain Re-Entry Program for ex-offenders. She's a criminal justice activist for the Newton County area. Alice is supporting the bill, H.R. 1242, that was passed through Congress, working to educate the community regarding this bill and working on the Wayne 60 project. She is H.R. 1242 bill, rather, is 400 Years of African Americans History Commission. She's a part of that. The act passed through 115 Congress, that's 2017 to 2018. Now, the bill establishes the 400 Years of African American History Commission to develop and carry out activities throughout the United States to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Africans in the English colonies at Point Comfort, Virginia in 1619. The plan programs to acknowledge the impact that slavery and the law that enforced racial discrimination had on the United States, to provide grants to the communities and non-profit organizations for the development of programs, grants to research and scholarly organizations to research, publish, or distribute. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinguished pleasure this evening to present to us none other than our presidential candidate, Alice Yancey Teague. Come on, can we give her a Can we give her a full and hearty round of applause this afternoon? Come on. Oh, we want to welcome you, presidential candidate. How are you doing this evening?
I am fine, and I just want to say thank you, Dr. Monica, for having me on the show. It's been my pleasure working with you in the future. I've worked with you, and it's been my pleasure. Also, Minister Quinn in Cleveland, I appreciate you all and everything you do. So I thank you for having me on your show.
Awesome, awesome. You're so beautiful.
Thank you.
You are so beautiful, and your demeanor, everything is just as you look. I mean,
thank you.
I just love you, and I thank you for stepping up.
I love you too.
Thank you. Thank you for stepping up to the call. Ladies and gentlemen, all our listeners out there, GL365 family, we will be taking questions this afternoon for our presidential candidate. But before we start pushing our questions this evening, we have to know who she is and what she's about. What I read to you just now is a little bit of who she is. Just want you to know where she is coming from. Many of you might not have known her name. She's a write-in candidate, and so she's going to explain what that is as well. With the unrest, the civil unrest that is going on, as well as the racial profiling and discrimination that we see going on today, the time is just ripe for us to talk to somebody of color, and a female at that. And of course, we know that she has a lot on her plate, what she wants to do for the United States of America. Am I right?
Yes, that's true. That's correct.
That's right. All right, so I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, some of the things that we probably did not know or do not know from here that I have read. Come on, tell the people who you are.
First of all, I am a mother. And I'm also a new grandmother, so I want to thank God for that.
Congratulations.
But as Dr. Monica, thank you. As Dr. Monica said, I am a criminal justice specialist, along with being a law student, and it bothers me to the point that we are where we are today. And I just want to say, as a president, if I am elected president, I am going to fight for the American people, but especially for people of color, because I believe that you need a president that will hear you, but most of all, who will fight for the American people. And I will wake up every morning doing that for the American people.
Thank you so much. I love that. She said that she will fight for the American people. All right, now we're talking about fighting for the American people. There's some things that you do stand for. People don't know you. In Georgia, we might know you. As a matter of fact, tell us a little bit about this write-in candidacy. How does that work? What is that about? Because many of us, we get our ballots, we go out to vote, and we either swing Democrat or Republican.
Correct.
Because we do know, and I think we've lost her there. We will get her back for you pretty soon. You don't go anywhere. We'll get her back. But anyways, we grow up in the family, and our families are either Democrat or Republican, and so we swing whichever way our family goes. We don't even look. We don't know that there's something as a write-in ballot. Explain that to us, please.
What a write-in candidate is a candidate that is not on any particular party. Basically, that person will not be on the ballot. You would have to write her name on the ballot to be president of the United States of America. But the write-in candidate is always under in every state. After you see independent, because I am an independent writing candidate, so after you see independent, then you will see to be president of the United States of America. And all you have to do is write that person's name always under president. After you see independent, because I am an independent writing candidate, so after you see independent, then you will see and write in. And all you have to do is write that person's name in so that they can understand. And that's simply what a writing candidate is. That the candidate is not in any particular party, and that vote she will not be on the ballot. But if you write her name so that they can understand, and that's simply what a writing candidate is. That the candidate is not in any particular party. I just want to explain that she will not be on the ballot. But if you write her name in, Green Party, the Liberty Party, or write in the presidential election. Now we have primary coming up, and I just want to explain that. Well, we have already anybody voted and stuff like that. You voted in the Green Party, still have to vote in the general election, which is November the 3rd. So I want to get that clear because so many people say, well, we've already voted and stuff like that. You voted my name in the primary, but you will the general election, which is November the 3rd, to the general election, and that's when you will have your ballot, and at the bottom end, you will not hear my name in the primary. Where it says right in, you will write my name when it comes to the general election, and that's when you will have your ballot, and at the bottom end, it will say right in, where it says right in, and then you will write my name in. We have the presidential election. So it's going to be a little bit easier. All you have to do is
All right, that was some good lesson right there. So there's a primary elections and the general elections.
And then that
so we don't have anywhere in the primary elections to see your name. All right, that was some good lesson right there. So there's a primary elections and the general elections. But in the general elections, so we don't have anywhere in the primary elections to see your name. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's right. In the general election, which is November the 3rd,
but in the general elections, there will be a slot for us to write in, actually write in the name.
Actually write my name where it says right in. That's right. In the general election, which is November the 3rd, if you have my sticker, my sticker has my name in. All you have to do is put it right underneath where it says right in. Put that sticker on there. And that if it's in your state, means you have on the ballot, and my sticker has my name. All you have to do is put it right underneath.
Thank you so much for that education. I didn't know that.
So there's consider me
thank you.
being
So
on
there
the
are
ballot,
actually some
and
states
that
out
will
there that
count
they do have
as
your
a write-in
sticker. Is that
candidate.
what you're saying? Wow, thank you so much for that
Our
education.
stickers are,
I didn't know that. So there's
Georgia will have it, Illinois will have it.
So there are actually some states out there that they do have your sticker. Is that what you're saying?
Period. Yes, our stickers are. There are some states out there that have my stickers. Georgia will have it. Illinois will have it. So it's a lot of states out there that will have it. We're still in the circulation period of getting stickers to different states, but it depends on the election if they will allow us to have stickers. Some won't, and if they won't, then you have to write my name in. But we're hoping the other states that we're trying to contact, New Hampshire, New Orleans, those states. More of your southern states, we're trying to get them to see if they will accept our sticker, and if that's the case, then we will have stickers going through this whole campaign on November the 3rd.
That would be so good. Those of you who are listening in New Orleans, Louisiana, and not just New Orleans, but the whole state of Louisiana, come on, we need to get stickers there. And in the other states, we want to get stickers right across the United States of America, because this is going to be a general election, and we need to have her there. Now, one of our listeners says, I was not going to vote, but if Alice Yancey Teague is a nominee, it gives me hope. And that's
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Jamaican Foods. She said that she was not going to vote. Now, there are others who have not expressed this on Facebook, nor YouTube, nor on GL365, nor on any of our websites. But this is what they're saying in their heart right now, Alice, that I am not going to vote. Now, they came on and they're hearing today about Alice Yancey Teague, whom they've never heard of. Now they know she's a woman, so that's a gender change. They know that she is African American. Again, we need that as well in the race. And here they are thinking, if Alice Yancey Teague is a nominee, then I might consider. Speak to those people for me today, Alice. Those people who are borderline, thinking that it's only two options that they have. Now here you are. Talk to them why you need them to come on out and give you that vote so you can become the next president of the United States of America.
Yes, and I do need your vote. And it's always been only two choices, Democrat or Republican. And as an American citizen, you should always have a choice. And I want to say to you, the reason why you should vote for me, I believe in change. I believe in fighting. I believe that police brutality has to stop. And I know that if we stick together, we can change some things. I always say, if you keep putting the same political people in office, nothing really changes. We have to be with people who knows what the struggle is. I know what it feels like to be in the struggle. I know what it feels like to have your lights turned off. Candles used to be my best friend. I know what it feels like to have your bologna sandwich, your hamburger sandwich, your sardine sandwich on the same bun. I know how that feels. I know what it feels like. And people want to hear about what are you going to do for me. I'm going to visit you. If you don't know me, I say for you to get to know me. Email me. Go to my website, AlisHanceyTiggs2020.com. AlisHanceyTiggs2020.com. Have me to sit at your table. I'll sit at your table. But if we want a change, and if we want someone to fight for the American people, I ask you on November the 3rd, come out and vote for the president of your choice. Don't let people say you don't have a choice, because you do have a choice. You have a choice to put who you want in to represent you, because anybody that you put in as an elected official needs to know that they work for the people. And I work for the people. And I want you to know, if I'm elected your president, I'm going to wake up every morning working for the American people.
All right. Thank you so much. Somebody says you need to send your sticker to Florida. Have you tried Florida as yet?
No, we haven't, but we'll get Florida on our list, and thank you so much.
Thank you. The folks in Florida needs your sticker, because we need change. We really need change. I mean, we're tired of seeing the same game being played over and over again, and we really need change. And of course, we know that there's a lot of people who don't know your name yet, but by the time this is over, they will know who Alice Yancey Teague is. And again, friends, you can go to www.alice, that's ALICE, Yancey, which is spelled YANCY, Teague, TEAGUE, 2020.com, and that's 2020.com. Alice Yancey Teague, 2020.com. All right, some of the things that she believes and stand for, we are going to talk about them. But we know the hot topic that is going on around today, Alice, and we're not going to skip over that, all right? We see all this unrest that is going on and racial profiling, and here it is that you are a presidential candidate in this very time. Not only COVID, but with what is happening, 400 years of this. Now, I want you to speak to the people as to where you stand on all of this racial profiling, the civil unrest, and how you can provide hope for the people of America.
Thank you, Dr. Monica. That's a very good question. I want to say this to those of you who are protesting. I believe in protesting, but I don't believe in rioting. And I understand why they're protesting, and I will protest, and I have been protesting with the people. They're tired. It's not only the George Floyd case. We're talking about the Taylor case. We're talking about the Arbery case. We're talking about Eric Gardner. When you have a person that says, I can't breathe, any mother, any father, any sister, any uncle should be very mad at what happened with this case. And so people are latching out because they're tired, because they feel that people are not listening to them. And the only way that they are listening now is through this riot. But I say to American people, those of you who are writing, let's not tear up our own community, because we have to live in those communities. Let's do a peaceful protesting. And I don't blame you for protesting. A change got to come. Hope is there. And I just ask you to keep hope alive. And as I said, as your president, if I'm elected, I want to make sure that justice is done. I want to make sure that we keep hope alive. I want to make sure that I can change some things. But I say to you, just like with Dr. King, he didn't believe in a violent protesting. He believed in nonviolence. And when we have a nonviolent protest, we can get some things done. But on November the 3rd, if we're mad enough, let's go out and vote. We can vote people that we don't want in. Let's fill out those census, because that's important. So I say to you, continue the protest, because they need to listen and they need to hear you. I hear you, and I'm going to fight with you. But let's do it in a peaceful manner, because If you elect me as your president, I will make sure that America is reformed. We need to reform America. We need to reform the criminal justice system. And that's what I'm planning on doing, is to reform it so that Black lives matter. Black lives will not matter until we get part of the American life. And I always said, and I remember what Dr. King once said, there's two America. There's a white America and there's a black America. We have to fit in the white America. And when we can fit in that white America, our lives will matter. And so we have to make sure that we are included in the white America. And I say to you, there's power in numbers. There's power in connecting. I say to you, let's connect. Let's move. But let's move forward. And let's move this country forward by sticking together.
We're talking this evening to Alice Yancey Teague. And of course, she is a presidential candidate running independent for the 2020 election. My president-to-be, let me say that, my president-to-be. You mentioned about the census. There are many people who think that the census is all about the government prying our business, wanting to know how many people are living in our household and all of that. And there are many people who don't really think that there is benefit of filling out the census, completing the census. You mentioned that it is important. Can you tell the people why it is that important? What does the census do for us?
What the census does, and you are correct, it does give a number of how many people in the household, but it also tells that if you have a road pavement that needs to be fixed, that's what that census is for. If you have dark streets that needs lights, that's what that census is for. If you want to change something, that's what that census is for. So it is very important that you fill out this census, but most of all, it's more important to vote.
All right. Thank you so much. Guys, you hear that? It is more important to vote. And at the bottom of the ballot during the general elections, you got to write her name in. And there's a particular way they have to write your name. Alice, could you tell them again how to write that name in?
Yes, when you write my name in, it'll be ALICE, and then it'll be a Y for an initial, and then it'll be the last name, Teague, TEAGUE. And like I said, you have to make it where it's legible so they can read it. But we're trying to get stickers, and so hopefully that will avoid people writing my name in, because like I said, if you have the sticker, if your state allow us to have the stickers, all you have to do is just put that sticker on where it says write-in candidate. But if you can't, just write ALICE, Y, and then TEAGUE, TEAGUE. Let's write me in. Let's make a difference. And let's see some change. And I believe that there's hope for this country. I believe that we can come together, but we have to change some things. And like I said, as your president, that is what I'm planning on doing, is to reform America, because we need it to be reformed. And I want to make sure that we reform the criminal justice system.
All right, good. We have some questions that are coming in, and I have Pam who's working with me this evening, guys. So y'all take it easy with me. I got Pam who's working with me to get our questions in and to get them over to our candidate so that she can address them. And I see here on Facebook, I'm going through Facebook, and Janelle Sharif says, looking at America today, with the misleading and misrepresentation of the American people, what would be the first platform you would attack? So we're going to have Pam, we're going to have you take care of that for me, get that over to President so that she can answer that once we come back. I'm going to give her a little break right here. I'm going to play a song and we're going to come back. So that's the question that we see right now that has popped up on Facebook. What would be the first platform you would attack, looking at America today with the misleading and misrepresentation of the American people? And I hope you got that question there for presidential candidate Pam. Also, I am looking in and I see other comments that says our children need a better future because they are the future. We need the right person to fight for our community and understand the needs of the people. And right here tonight, we see Alice Yancey Teague, who that is her belief, and that's what she stands for. The community, the people, the country will have to say, yes, this is the person that we want. So I'm hoping that everybody that's listening in this evening and you're eligible to vote, that you'll write down that name, Alice Y. Teague, and you'll make sure that when you go to your general election, at the bottom of that ballot, if your state doesn't have a sticker for her, that you would write her name in and say, yes, let's put her out there so that she can lead. All right? Somebody says, yes, it's cumulative tiredness. Yes, justice is what we're all looking for. Hearing Alice Yancey Teague's speech does give hope. So tonight, President Candidate Teague, there are folks that are saying that there is hope listening in to you.
Thank you so much.
All right. I'm going to give you a moment there for that question before we take that question. And then we're going to come back. Marcia says, writing her name is better. That way the stickers can't be removed. Presidential candidate, you want to talk about that before you even answer the first question? This person says writing your name is better than, that way the stickers can't be removed.
I totally agree with that. That's the awesome suggestion. I totally agree with that. And the purpose of us having the stickers was for our senior citizens, because some of our senior citizens might have a difficult time of writing my name in, and so that's why we suggested having the stickers. But I totally agree with you. It is better to write my name in, and let's do this. Let's make a change. We can make a change. It's up to the people. This election is for the people. You can change this. You don't have to settle Democrat or Republican, but you can settle with somebody that's fighting for you, and that person is Alice Yancey Teague, that will fight for the American people, and especially for people of color. And so I totally agree with you. Let's write it in. Let's write it in bold, so that way they cannot make any mistake that I want to vote for Alice Y. Teague.
That is a very, very good suggestion right there. Thank you so much, guys. Who was that? Marcia Patrick. Thank you so much for mentioning that, because I didn't even think about that. New York is coming in, and they say that they need stickers, but I'm hoping that you heard what she just said. Even if you don't have any stickers, please write the name in. And if you got stickers, write the name in and put the sticker over it. All right? Write the name in, put the sticker over it. Use up the sticker. But whatever you do, make sure you write that name in. And don't ask people to write it in too, because they might just write something else. Okay? Pamela, okay, thank you so much, Pam, for working with me. Marva is saying she's coming in from New York, and she was saying, send New York some stickers. And if you're doing paper ballots, could you write in her name also? So Marva, yes, that's what she wants us to do. Write the name in. The general election is November the 3rd, and we want people to go on out and do that. So we're going to talk to her about our very first question, but just give me a little bit of time here. Let me check in with the YouTube family to see if we have any questions over here on YouTube. Okay, all right, so there are no questions on YouTube. You guys remember that you can send in your questions, all right? Are you ready for me, Alice, or do you need a moment to get some water?
I need a moment to get some water, please.
All right, go right ahead. Now, let me free you. I'm going to take you down all speakers so that you can go and do that, and I will talk to you off the air, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. We want to welcome you again this evening. We're talking with presidential candidate Alice Yancey Teague, and she's running as an independent. You have to write her name in on the ballot. That's the general elections coming up the 3rd of November. In light of the civil unrest and racial profiling that is going on, we actually have her on air to talk about that. What kind of change will she bring to the American citizens? Because we are sick and tired, and really sick and tired and sick and tired of everything that is going on, all the political ramblings that's going on, and I mean, just how insignificant people can be to the leadership each and every day. We need a change. Now, this is Angela Peart. She wrote this song maybe about 10 years ago, and today today, this song means so much more. Today it means so much more. When she wrote it as a change has come. And today we really need a fresh change. And we're seeing this and we're hoping that we would all go out on the 3rd of November, do what it takes to get Alice Yancey Teague in to be our next president of the United States of America. Enjoy the song and we'll be right back. Oh, yes, we can. Her name is Alice Yancey Teague, and she is a presidential candidate running independent for the 2020 election. She is live on the phone with us this evening, and we want to thank her so much for being here. She is getting ready to respond to a question that was asked, but ahead of that, Alice, let me just go ahead. Could you turn that down for me in the background? Could you turn down that music? Thank you so much. Yes, we are back. We're live, and I want to say thank you so much for coming on out. Now, let me take a couple comments before we get her to answer that question. Are you there, Alice?
Yes, I am.
All right, good. So those who are just coming in, we're speaking with Alice Yancey Tig, presidential candidate running independent as a write-in ballot, guys, write in for the 2020 election. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that she stands for, so just stick around. Now, we have one person who says, please know, I am not trying to be negative, but as much as I love the idea of another candidate, I think that we run a great risk by splitting the Democratic vote, perhaps adding to Trump's chance. I think that might be chance of winning a second term. Would love to hear your thoughts. And this is Carol from New York. So she wants to hear your thoughts on splitting
from the USA to
splitting the Democratic vote. All right. So we will definitely talk about that. That's where her concern lies, and we have to address each and everyone's concern. All right. So did you get that, Alice?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Carol, for that. Thank you, Carol, for that question. That's a very good question. Yeah, you have a point there that there could be a chance that the votes will be split from the Democrat and the Republican, and Trump will get back in here. But this is what I'm saying. I believe that if everybody believes in a change, and if everybody wants to see different, instead of the same Democrat person, the same Republican person, because we're not getting anywhere. So that's why we got to do something different. So I believe that if you get out there, everybody get out there, know who I am. And if you get out and vote and you write my name in, I believe we can take this election. But it's going to take everybody to do the same thing, is to run to the polls and write my name in. Let's see a change, because we have seen the Democrat side. We have seen the Republican side. And let me just make something clear. I've been a Democrat all of my life. My whole family was a Democrat. But I decided to run on an independent ticket as a write-in candidate because we need somebody that's going to fight for the people. And I don't see that. And that's the reason why I'm running this ticket. And we have to do things in mysterious ways. And I can see this race, but we can also see this race being for the people. And that's why I'm running. And I believe that if you pray about this, I believe that we can take this race as a write-in candidate, because we want to, first of all, we want to see a change. We want to see different. And this is the only way that we're going to get different. This is the only way that you're going to get somebody that's going to fight for you. And that's what I'm planning on doing. Give me a chance to show the American people that your vote, your voice counts. You matter. And in this election on November the 3rd, the people matter. And that's what I'm fighting for, to let you know that I'm a people person and that the people matter.
Wow, well said right there, Alice Yancey Tig. And she is independent, running as an independent presidential candidate. Now, somebody else says, Jamaican Food says, tell her to advertise herself more on all media platforms because not everyone knows about her. Radio, TV, etc. Send in the mail, etc. People need to know she's out there for the support. And before I allow you, Alice, to say anything about that, let me tell our folks it takes money for her to advertise.
Yes.
Go ahead and address that, Alice.
Yes, it does. It takes money to advertise. And we are doing social media. I'm trying to get on every radio station. We're trying to get in the newspaper. We're trying to get the media. But the media won't come out. So we've got to go to the media. We've got to, and we're trying all those things. But as Dr. Monica said, it takes money to run ads. It takes money to do billboard signs. And we're trying. But we need the help and we need the support. And like I said, if we want to change, help this team. Help me get noticed. I always believe in the 1, 2, 3. I need someone to get me out there. I need someone to support this campaign, and I need someone to say, we want to change. And if we put ourselves in the position that we want to change, we can do this. You can get me on the radio. People will come donating their money in to get advertising. And that's what we need. We ask you to please donate to the website, AliceYanceyTiggs2020.com. There's a slot on there to donate. We need your donation. I need you. I love you. And I want to make a difference for you. But I need your help. and let's make a change together.
All right, you mentioned that on the site there's a place for donation, and I need some help to find this right here, right now. Pamela, could you post something in there and help? Oh, contributions. Here it is. It says contributions, guys. And if you click that, of course, it says the time is now donate. And I see support Alice Yancey Tig in her race to the White House with a monetary donation of a small contribution of $10. It will help her to accomplish her goal by raising $4 million. Let's get Alice registered on the ballot for the 2020 presidential election. Get on board the $4 million goal. All right. So if it's even $10, guys, get on in. There is a donate button right there. Continue. You hit that continue button, and of course there are rules. There are contribution rules. You got to be at least 18 years old, not a federal contractor, got to be a U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident. The contribution is made from your own funds, and you're making the contribution with your own personal credit card. All right, and the contribution complies with the provisions of the ethics in government, and of course there's a code right there. So please come on in, do your contributions. They are not tax deductible for federal income tax purposes. All right, so she needs the money. We want her on TV, in the newspaper, on all the social media platforms, but it takes money. All right, Alice, we asked your question earlier on, and here it is. Time for you to go ahead and address that question.
The question, what is my platform? What I'm planning on doing? My first 100 days, this is what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on reforming the criminal justice system. I want to make sure that police brutality is stopping. I want to make sure that police are held accountable for any wrongdoing, and that they be prosecuted to the fullest, and that justice is done for the family. The other thing that I'm planning on doing is reforming the gun law. I want to make sure that the gun laws are that you're 21 years old before you can purchase any type of ammunition. Make sure that there's an extensive amount of training. I want to do away with the handguns and the rifles and the shotgun. Make them for military use and for hunting. And then I want to make sure that NRA and gun dealers are responsible for selling guns to minors. I want to talk about the health care plan.
Go right ahead.
In my 100 days, these are the things I want to do. The health care plan. I want to make sure that we have a group health care plan. And what that group health care plan means is that if for some reason that you had an emergency and you had to bring your family in, if they're in your household, they will be able, if they don't have insurance, they will be able to get medical care under your group health care plan. And of course, I'm going to work with the health industrial, the insurance company, and I'm also going to work with taxing on the rich so that this can happen. But I believe that everybody needs affordable health care.
Can I interject right there, Alice?
Yes.
That makes me smile. So does that mean if my mom lives with me, then she would be able to be under my health care plan?
Yes, she will.
Oh.
And that's what I want. That's what I want to do, because everybody deserves to have an affordable health care plan. And that's why I want to make it that you have a group health care plan that's affordable.
Thank you so much, because me personally, I have my mom who is a permanent resident. I'm a citizen. But whether or not she was a permanent resident or a citizen, right now how it is, I cannot put her on my plan. And it is hard for her to get something. Whenever she goes to the doctor, we have to pay up front. You know, when my children and my husband or my spouse can be on my plan, my mom and my dad, they're not allowed to be on it. So I want to thank you for looking at that for us as well.
Yes, and with this group health care plan, that's what it will do. It will put anybody that's in your household that do not have an insurance plan, they will be able to get on their plan, and they will be able to have medical coverage, medication, hospital stay, because as I said, everybody needs to have affordable health care.
Nice. I love that. All right. Anything else you want to do in the first 100 days before we get into nitty gritty of what you will do as a president?
Yes, the first 100 days, I want to talk about small business and grants. I have a business myself, a security business, and I want to be able to make sure that small business be able to get grants that are free, so that they can sustain their employees for one, and their business can stay intact as well. Because when you have a grant, you can afford to hire somebody, you can afford to stay in business. And that's what small business needs. Small business needs a push. They need a help. And that's the only way they're going to get it, because some small business do not qualify for loans because of the guidelines. But I want to be able to make sure that you'll be able to be giving a grant as long as you meet the qualification for small business.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to, let me take some more comments, and then we're going to talk about the things that you do believe in and what you stand for. Again, those who are just coming on in, we want to welcome you. We're broadcast right now. We're being broadcast right now on GL365. That's Gospel Live 365 out of Houston, Texas. DJ Roy and the crew, thank you so much for broadcasting us on all your platforms, as well as our Caribbean Gospel Radio FM family. We're on all of our platforms: online Radio Box, YouTube, TuneIn Radio, Nobex Radio, Facebook, Radio Garden, iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Windows Mobile, and www.caribbeangospelradiofm platform. So thank you so much. Don't you forget that you can write in your questions. If you're on Facebook, you can write them in. If you are on YouTube, you can write your question in. And if you're at www.caribbeangospelradiofm.com, you can write your question in for our presidential candidate, Alice Yancey Teague. I just pinned her information on Facebook. We're not allowed to pin anything on YouTube, so I'm sorry, guys. I pinned her information on Facebook, so please go there, check out her website, and make sure that you get involved in the change. Now, all the way from the UK, Tanisha writes, she says, I totally agree with her. Change has to start somewhere. We are the change. Well done. And good evening to those who are coming in. Here goes another question. So, Pamela, I hope that you're working with me, Pamela. Come on. The question is, and this question goes for you, presidential candidate Alice. The question, does she have a strong support system? Perhaps do more social media advertising for now until funds build up? Because being honest, I've never heard of her. And we know that, Norma. I'm going to give her a chance to say that, to answer that. But we know that. I've been advertising it all morning, and I did say that. I mean, a lot of people, maybe 99.9% of the U.S. never heard of her. And guess what? When Barack Obama came out, I never heard of this man, not one day in my life, okay? And he came all the way from the back, boom, right into the White House. And so we when we need change and we go after change, when we're passionate about it, then guess what? We can make it happen. So this program this evening is to bring her, one of the programs intended to bring presidential candidate running independent for the 2020 election, Alice Yancey Teague, to the front line so that folks can know about her. So here is where you can help her. You can send this all across. I created the flyer earlier. It's on our Facebook page. Take that flyer, send it around to other people, because guess what? A lot of the videos that they're now showing with police unrest and all of that and profiling, I never knew of them. It's because somebody shared it with me why I am now knowing about them. And I too pass them on to other people so that they too can know. So this is what it's going to take. It's going to take you and I to get her out there and let people know that there's an Alice Yancey Teague that is running independent, write-in ballot for the 2020 election. Once they hear, they can't say they didn't know. All right? So that's what we're going to do. And I'm asking everybody to pick up the baton and spread her all over your social media. Because look, she's one person with one social media page. So everything that she posts stays on there for those who go to that page. Now, if 100 of us can pick it up and share it on our page, that's 100 other people that is spreading the message. And the 1,000 followers that everybody has, 100 times 1,000 people are going to. Now you understand what I'm saying? This is how we're going to help her get out there. Well, an hour before, you didn't know about her. Right now, we know about her. Let's spread her to the rest of the United States of America. Can we do that tonight, family? Yes, we can. All right, so go ahead and address that if you want to, presidential candidate.
I totally agree to what you just said. That's the only way that we're going to make this happen, is to share this broadcast tonight. Share me on Facebook. Share me on all social media. I can't stress enough to go to my website, AliceYanceyTiggs2020.com. Do I have a strong support team? We are building a strong support team. If you feel that you need to be involved, get on board, you want to make a change, I ask that you get on this train and help support me. And let's build together. Let's see a miracle happen. And as Dr. Monica said, nobody knew about Barack Obama. He came out of nowhere and he began to go into the White House. We saw a change there. Let's see another change. Let's see a change for the people. And like I said, this election belongs to the people. People can get to know me. Get me in front of their TV. Get me in their homes. I'll come to their homes so that they can know me, and we can do some Zoom in and everything like that, since we have to be social distant. But I ask you, if you want to see a change, get on board this train and let's see a change together. Because I believe in the people, and I believe in hope, and I want to keep hope alive, and I want to believe that a change is going to come.
That's right. Totally agree. Well, Selma is asking, who would be her VP? Who you think, Selma? That would be me, right? I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Go ahead. Go ahead, candidate. Answer that question. Do you have an answer?
We are looking for a vice president now. I want to make sure that I have a Hispanic VP. And the reason why that is because Hispanics, Afro-American people of color, have never had the opportunity to show strength. Awesome. And I believe that we can show strength by a mixture of people to know that we can bring power together if we connect. And so I've not picked that vice president yet. We are seeking vice president, and I want to make sure that the vice president come to the table with something. And not only that they are a people person, because that's how you're going to win this election. You've got to love people, and you've got to want to work and make a change for the people. Changes that people will think will never be done. We have to remember the people that live in the trailers. We have to remember people that live in project housing. We have to remember those people. We have to remember people that are incarcerated, because I want to reform the criminal justice system. We have to remember senior citizens. So these are the people that we need to bring to the table, and this is what I'm looking for in a vice president. And that's how we can change the world. As my grandson would say, we can change the world, but we have to change within ourselves.
Oh, I just love to hear that every time. Yes, we can. We're speaking with Alice Yancey Tig, and if you are just tuning in, she's a presidential candidate running independent for the 2020 election. She's on the phone with me. We lost her video earlier on, but we will continue tonight. because we are giving her a voice in light of everything that is going on. Now, somebody says the first two reforms are very much needed. As a matter of fact, before I get into that, I love that. I love where you would go for a Hispanic VP. I love that. Now, the first two reforms are very much needed, says Norma. Also, the healthcare, that is a big plus. So folks are listening in, all right? Folks are definitely listening in. All right, so we have another question. How do you feel about raising minimum wage? And guess what? That's where we're going. Because these are some of the things that she believes in and stand for. Raising minimum wages. And I'm going to let her speak on that. So here's a question. It's been promised by all but never get done. How do you feel about raising that?
I want to raise minimum wages, and that is one of the platforms that I'm standing on now. I want to raise minimum wage to $17 to $18 an hour, because I don't believe that people should work 2 to 3 jobs to just have food on the table. I believe that they need to spend more time with their family. And if you raise the minimum wages when the cost of living goes up, then people will be able to afford to work one job and be able to have family time and family gathering. So I'm all for raising the minimum wages, and that is one of my platforms, and I will fight for that. And I know that it has been said, but I actually will fight for that and will not rest until we get it done.
Thank you so much. Norma Allen says that is a great introduction of you, Candidate Ali. She says she's learned a lot in the short time that she's been listening. And this is what I'm saying. Tonight, it is that introduction. Go to her page, share it with the others. Just like President Barack Obama, when he was a candidate, when he came from the back, when nobody knew about him, he came from the back straight to the White House. We can do this with Alice Yancey Teague. All right, let me see some Pamela. Okay, her Facebook pages. Thank you so much, Pamela, for posting that there for us. Now, Alice believes in reforming the criminal justice system. You heard her saying that, and her first 100 days in office focus would be placed on that. Also, reforming the healthcare to a university group healthcare plan. She mentioned that. She elaborated a little bit on that. Now, she also has a heart for the homeless people. Candidate Alice, as President of the United States of America, what would you do for the homeless people?
For the homeless, because I do have a heart for homeless, I believe that homeless people should be able to have affordable housing. So I want to clean up the streets in the city and the states of abandoned buildings. I want to make the abandoned buildings affordable housing, because some of our homeless are veterans, and veterans should never be homeless. And veterans, if you're out there, I salute you. And not only do we have veterans out there being homeless, we have young teenagers on the street being homeless. So I want to take every abandoned building in every city and state to make them affordable housing. And that's what I will do in my first 100 days, because America is too rich of a country to have homeless people.
I totally agree with that. Too rich of a country to have homeless people. All right, let's move it right along. We're talking to candidate Alice Yancey Teague this afternoon or this evening or tonight, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. And she's telling us about her plan for the presidency. And we got to make sure that we help her achieve that. Small businesses. You have a heart for small businesses, and not just small businesses, but farmers as well, because you understand how important they are to society. Now, what is it that you want to do for small businesses and farmers once you become president of the United States of America?
That's a good question, Dr. Monica. Once I become president of the United States of America, if the people allow me to be their president, yes, small business and farmers. I love to have fresh vegetables because I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I believe that farmers need the help that they need to continue to grow their vegetables and the fruit. And so I would propose to give them a grant where they would not have to pay it back, but they will be able to supply and get all of the supplies and the things that they need. And the same with small business, because I believe in small business. As I stated earlier, I have a security company, so I know how rough it is to be a startup business, and I know how difficult it is to try to keep your business afloat, especially with things going up in the market today. And so having a grant versus a loan, because some people just won't qualify for a loan, but they can qualify for the grant. And it's hard and difficult to pay back a loan when you're trying to make sure that your business is floating. But with a grant, you can be able to move with the grant, and you'll be able to keep your business. And that's what I'm going to fight for, is grants for small business and farmers. And that way, they are included in the American way of moving and doing things together.
Thank you. We're live on GL365 out of Houston, Texas. DJ Roy and the crew want to say thanks, Caribbean Gospel Radio FM. And, of course, Minister Delroy Lingo want to say thank you so much for coming on in this evening. We are talking to presidential candidate Alice Yancey Tig, our 2020 presidential write-in candidate. And those who are just coming in, you probably have not heard. But, yes, they're sending out stickers. Her party, those that are working alongside her, they're sending out stickers to the states that will have them. All right. So there's some states that won't have stickers. Now, when you go to the general elections on the 3rd of November, at the bottom of the ballot, that is where you can actually write in the name of the person. So that's where you would write Alice Y. Tig, Teague. That's where you would write it in. And if you have a sticker in your state, still write her name in and then place that sticker over it, all right? So even if they remove the sticker, her name is still there. Because today we can't trust anybody, right? So make sure make sure you write it in and then put that sticker over it. I want to say thanks to Messiah Patrick for mentioning that to us earlier on. So tonight we're introducing her to the globe. Yes, we are in Caribbean Gospel Radio FM, Gospel Vibes Radio FM, GL365 out of Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for being here with us, and presidential candidate Alice Yancey Tig. Now, she mentioned about raising minimum wages, but also you have a heart for students who have to go through the loan process to complete their education. You got big plans for that too, as far as student loans are concerned, and bankruptcy and all of that. Could you tell the American public what it is that you plan to do where that is concerned?
Yes, student loans is very difficult when people have to pay it back. And what I want to do is to make sure that student loans can be included if you have to file bankruptcy, and to make sure that their debt is forgiven. Because I had to use student loans to continue my education, and I know how difficult it was making payments. So I just want to make sure that we have a tool out there where student loan debt can be forgiven, and that it also can be included in bankruptcy.
Thank you so much, candidate. Let me share this with you. In the year 2000, I'm going to get a little bit, thank you guys for coming into the program. It's Up Close and Personal. I'm Dr. Monica. And let me get a little bit up close and personal with you, candidate Alice, my friend. In the year 2000, I had my first child. I have 2 children, and that was the first of the 2. And I was going to school here in America because I wanted to further my education. And I took out some school loans. And a couple years later, my husband and I, we had a situation at the time. We had a situation, and bankruptcy was filed. And somehow I did not hear the attorney say that my school loans were not covered in the bankruptcy. I didn't hear that. And so I went my merry way for 7 years. And then the bankruptcy cleared from my credit. And what do you know? School loan creditors start to call me. I got letters and everything. And when I asked, they said, no, student loans are not covered in bankruptcy. Do you know that this year my son is 20 years old and I'm still paying back that student loan from the year 2000? So I want to say thank you, because that is near and dear to my heart. All these young people starting off life with in debt because of student loans. And if something comes up as bankruptcy, they should be able to wipe it out. So thank you for a heart like that. Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome, because I believe, just like you said, that they should not have to have that debt, and that's why I do want to include it in a bankruptcy.
Good. All right. Thank you so much. Now, for us, the church, and the folks, they hear that you attend the Church of Christ, right?
Yes.
In McDonough, Georgia, I think?
That's in McDonough, Georgia. That's correct.
That's right. So you are involved in the church. Now, you know how the church is involved in outreach projects, and you also have plans for that should you become the president, the next president of the United States of America. Talk to us about what it is that you want to do for the church at large.
Yes, for the churches at large, I want to make sure that they'll be able to do any community project, is that they will be able to get grants for any community project. And for ministers or deacons or elders who wants to continue their education, especially in theology, I want to make sure that they will be able to have a grant free to go to school, so that they can be able to communicate to the churches. And not only that, this is how you feed your community. And so that's what I'm planning on doing as president, is to make sure that we continue giving grants to rebuild any type of community program that a church might want to have, and to see that ministers can go back and further their education to theology and get a grant to go to school.
All right. I know that where the IRS is concerned, Candidate Alice, the word church is broad-based. So it means a synagogue. It means a church. It means a synagogue for the Jews. It means church as far as Christianity is concerned. It means any place of religious activity. It doesn't matter what it is called in that particular religion. So when you talk about churches, you're not just talking about in Christianity, right? You're using the same broad-based terminology. So the Jews,
broad-based.
So the Jews will benefit. So tonight when we say churches, guys, we don't want you to think just Christian religion. Yes, she is Christian, but for IRS code, churches is a blanket term that is used for all places of religious activity. So be a mosque, a church, a synagogue, a temple, whatever it is called. That is what she's talking about. Free grants for community outreach projects that's undertaken by these churches, these places of religious activity. And thank you too. You mentioned free grants for ministers and pastors and deacons to continue their education in theology.
Yes.
That is awesome. Thank you for that. You also mentioned stricter gun laws earlier on, that 21 years old, they would have to get to 21 years old. Go ahead.
21 years old to purchase any type of ammunition. I would also make sure that they have stricter training, and also hold gun dealers responsible for selling guns to minors, because we have to get the guns off the street. And if we have a stricter law, and I reform the law, this is how we can get the guns off the streets.
That's right. Thank you. We got a question coming in from Mazarine, but we're going to take her question a little bit later on. The question is, please tell me what make you different from all the other candidates that gives empty promises, and what are your plans for hardworking immigrants who have never committed any crime and are separated from family? So that's a two-part question, and I just want to get some other stuff before getting to that question, but I didn't want to lose it in case the thread begins to move. So it's a two-part question. They want to know what make you different from all the other candidates that give empty promises. That's part one. And two, what are your plans for hardworking immigrants who have never committed any crime and are separated from their families? So keep that in mind, Candidate Alice. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Again, we want to welcome those who are just coming in to Up Close and Personal. I'm Dr. Monica, sitting back here, Caribbean Gospel Radio FM, GL365. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the program this evening. We're speaking with presidential candidate, running independent for the 2020 election. Her name is Alice Yancey Tig, and she is here with us tonight. Of course, you know from I Say Her, female and African American, and we want to say thanks to her for picking up the baton and deciding to stand in the gap for us. Alice, again, is the granddaughter of a sharecropper, Crescent and Darlene Yancey from Paris, Tennessee. Alice was born in Chicago. She currently resides in Atlanta, Georgia for the last 9 years, and she's very, very, very involved in the community. Now, talking about involved in the community, you have a passion for single parents. And so, as President of the United States of America, you got a plan in mind for single parents that make less than $65,000 a year?
Yes, my plan for single parents that makes less than $65,000 a year is to ensure that they can get free child care, whether it's a male or female, because my daughter, I can take, for example, my daughter is a single mother, and when she was looking for daycare, it was very hard for her to find daycare. We had to end up going places that she did not even want to go for her child. And so I believe that child care is very important for single mothers because they do have to work and they have to provide. And if they work and they have a low income, I believe that their child care should be free so that they could be able to work and provide for their family.
Awesome. Well, not only single parents, you have a passion too for teachers, truck drivers.
Yeah.
What are your plans for teachers?
My plans for teachers is the cost of living. When the cost of living increases, teachers' raises should increase. And also to give them the resource that they need, because if you give the teachers the resource they need, then they can teach better in the classroom, and that's what I believe in. And I also believe that they need to have the health care that they need, and essential workers, and truck drivers are part of the essential workers. I believe that they need a raise as well, because without truck drivers, nothing can move our country. And so they need to be appreciated, and we need to understand that they are a really working part of our community, and not only our community but our country, and that they deserve to have raises. And that's what I want to do in my first 100 days as well.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about people who are non-workers. First of all, we're going to have you answer that two-part question that came in from Mazreen Harvey. She's in Florida, and we know that Florida is one of the big states that we got to win. All right. So Florida is asking, Mazreen Harvey is speaking out, and she asked a two-part question. When we come back, candidate Alice Yancey Teague will address that. Let's take a break. Sound of Angela Pear, The Change Has Come. Song written by a Jamaican. Yes, family of mine, my children's godmother. A change has come. Sing, Angela. Yes, we can. We can follow our dreams. We can get to the sky. We can live together as one. A change has come. Angela Peart. Thank you so much for tuning in to Up Close and Personal. We're not done yet. We're speaking with presidential candidate Alice Yancey Tig. And she's here tonight telling us about her plan. All that she will put into effect once she becomes the next president of the United States of America. Thanks again to GL365 in Houston, Texas, DJ Roy, for carrying the program live on all your platforms. We want to welcome back with us presidential candidate Alice Yancey Tig to the program. We are talking to her tonight. And for those of you who are just coming on in, she is a presidential candidate running independent for the 2020 election, and it's actually a write-in ballot. Write-in, which means you have to write her name in. So at the bottom of the ballot on the general elections, in the general elections, November the 3rd this year, you're going to have to write her name in. Some of the states, you might have sticker. But even if you have sticker, please write her name in before you put that sticker in that place. That way it cannot be tampered with. Even if they take the sticker away, guess what? Her name will still be written there. Candidate Alice, are you back with us? Yes, you are, right?
Yes, I am back, and thank you, Dr. Monica. And I just want to answer the lady out in Florida, which was a very good question. Please tell me what can you be different from the other candidates? Well, let me just say this. And then it says that gives empty promises. I don't give empty promises. I can't promise you the world, but what I can promise you, that I will be honest, that I will be full of love, and that I will work for the American people. I will wake up every morning fighting for the American people. And what makes me different than the other candidate is because I believe in hope. I believe in the future of the people. And what makes me different than the other candidate, because I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I came from the housing. I came from the housing project. I came from the west side of Chicago. So I believe in the struggle, and I'm in this fight with you. I'm in this fight with you with the struggle, and I want to see things better. My mother used to tell me when I was a little girl, if something bothers you, and if it's not normal, you make it right, even if you have to do it by yourself. And so it bothers me that our country is divided. It bothers me that I have a child that can't walk down the street without getting gunned down, or I have a son that's 30 years old that has to be harassed by the police. I want to do something about that. I want to fight for injustice. And so that's what makes me different. I don't come with a lot of promise. I come with facts. Not only that, I come with action. I'm like the show me state. I want to show you that I'm worth you voting for me, because I'm going to fight for you. All I ask is that you give me a chance to fight for you. The other question is that what do you do with immigration who's never committed any crime or who are separated from family? Let me be clear. I don't believe that anybody should be separated from their family. I would never lock anybody up in cages and stuff like that. That is not right. And we have to remember, you was brought here. If you're a citizen here, then you need to be treated with respect. You need to be given the same opportunity, because the last time that I looked, God made us all. And we are to be people of love, people who cares for each other. And that's the only way that we're going to build this nation. That's the only way that we're going to build this country, is that we come together. So you are part of this country. And there's no way that you should be separated from your family. Mother should not be separated. Father should not be separated, because your kids need you and you need your kid. And we need to bring love back into this country, and we need to stop being divided. And you need a president that's not about division, but who is about the American people. And that's what I'm about. I'm about the American people. I'm going to fight for you, and I'm going to do what I can to earn your trust, because you put me in office. If you put me in office, I have to remember I work for you, and that's what I'm planning on doing if you elect me to be your next president, because I want to push this country forward, and I want to bring love and peace and togetherness. And united we stand, and divided we fall. So it's time for us to unite. It's time for us to come together and be together and move this country forward. And the time is now.
You mentioned pushing the country forward, and we know that people go out every day, they're working, they have jobs, and life is good for them. But what about the people who don't have a job, non-workers? Do you have any kind of plan for those people?
Yes, I do. On my platform, I have a plan that if you're not a non-worker, I believe in skill training, because a lot of people can't go to college. But if you learn a skill like carpenter, sewing, you can make a living off of that. And that's what I want to do, is have vocational training skill for people that are non-workers.
Great, great, great. I like that. Now, talking about making home loans affordable and stopping foreclosures, that is big on your plate as well. Talk to us about that.
Yes, it is. Making home affordable, meaning that you can be able to sustain a reasonable loan where you don't have a high interest rate. Foreclosure. When you have a lot of foreclosures in a community, first of all, it brings your property value down. I believe that we need to have a plan versus foreclosure, an ultimate plan where they can get on a payment plan to catch up on their mortgage. I just don't believe in foreclosure, because when you have a flood of foreclosure, you have homeless. And again, I'm trying to clean up the street of homeless. And so if you take foreclosure out of the picture, then we can try to clean up the homeless population here, because people lose their home for whatever reason, job loss, sickness. That happens. That's the American way. But do they really have to lose their home, something they fought for? No, I don't believe in that. But I do believe that there can be an alternate plan to save their home. And what I want to do is work with the industrial to make sure, and work with the mortgage company, that they have given that person every opportunity they can, and before they even think about foreclosure. But I want to just take foreclosure out of the industrial, out of the mortgage, because of the fact I believe a person should stay in their home, and there is an alternate plan, and I want to work with that ultimate plan to stop foreclosure.
Awesome. Talking to 2020 presidential candidate Alice Yancey Teague, and I want you to know her name. I want you to visit her website, AliceYanceyTeague2020.com. And if you visit that website, come back and tell us on YouTube, tell us on our website, tell us on Facebook. Hey, I visited her website, all right? I need you all to go there and see exactly what she is doing. Talking about what she's doing, there's something that she wants to do for Nonviolent Criminal Act, and also as far as it concerns nonviolent offenders as well. So talk to us about those two. What is it that you want to do where it concerns the Nonviolent Criminal Act, and what is it that you want to do for nonviolent offenders?
The nonviolent offenders in the criminal justice system I want to reform, but I want to do away with the three-strike law because I believe in second chances. I visit a Minnesota prison, especially with what's going on now. A guy was in prison for $198, life without parole, because of the three-strike law. And I believe that for nonviolent offenders, I want to get them back their voting rights. I want to make sure that they will be able to sustain a job, housing, because even with the criminal records, they can't even get an apartment. So I want to give them back these rights, because I believe in second chances. Anybody can make a mistake. Anybody can make a mistake, but we got to learn to forgive and bring them back into our community, because we need to have productive community. And so that's what I want to do with the Criminal Justice Reform Act. I want to reform the criminal justice. I want to do away with the three-strike law.
Great. All right. So before we close out today, I know that reparations is big for you. Want make that a national holiday. You want it in the school curriculum, and also putting prayers back in school. Now I'm going to bundle all of that together so you can talk to the American people about your plans where all of that is concerned.
Yes. Reparation, and thank you, Dr. Monica. That is a big thing on me. We have to remember what our ancestors went to, and we cannot forget that. And I believe that reparation, they said that the 40 acres and a mule, well, they will never be able to pay us that because of the trillions of dollars that they're in debt. But what they can do, we can have reparation, we can have it a national holiday, we can make it in our curriculums, we can bring prayer back into our school. Let's do no tax for us, so that we can be able to send our kids to school. And so that's what I'm proposing for with the reparation, because I believe in reparation, and I believe that we should honor those who have went through reparation to make it possible for us.
All right, so you are proposing it a national holiday. Do you have a month yet that you're thinking of?
It would be in June. I'm thinking June, like the middle of June. So yes, I'm thinking about at June, because June 19th is Juneteenth Day. So it would be right around there.
Okay, great. So that would be in the summer as well for us. That's awesome. And I love the fact that you would be working to put prayers back into the school, because we see what happened. Once prayers came out, the guns went in.
Absolutely.
So thank you for considering that. And you wanted to do something for poor families, because, I mean, you being a person of the cloth as well, you go to church, you know that Jesus said that we're going to have the poor with us all the time. And since they're here amongst us, you have a plan. Should you become the President of the United States of America, poor people and families that are in poverty, what's your plan for them? And talk about your plan also for the senior citizen.
Let's go with the poverty. We have to remember that we need to get people out of poverty. I believe in helping people that are in poverty. I believe that they need to be in affordable homes. I believe that they need to have resources, and that's what it is. They need to have resources, and I will make sure that people that live in poverty will have the resources if they want to go back to school, if they want to attain a small business, and I will make sure that they have the resources for that, because we should not have poverty in America. And I'm going to fight every day to get people out of poverty, so that they can have the American dream. Senior citizens, I want to make sure that senior citizens' benefits will increase versus decrease. I want to make sure that medication decrease versus increase. And then I want to make sure that they have every tax cut that's available to them. I also want to do free transportation for senior citizens, because senior citizen paves the way for people like me. And so we should never forget that. And that's what I want to do if I become President of the United States of America.
We got a couple questions that came in just now. Joan Rowe is asking, what about mental health? That's from Joan Rowe. That's question number one. What about mental health? And I know Pam is working here with me. And then Carol Richards out of New York is asking, can you speak about your background and political views? Can you speak about your background and political views? All right. So I'm going to give you a moment to address those two questions. And then after that, then we will have you just address the American people as you make your way on out of here tonight. Before you do so, somebody made a comment that I wanted to read. Norma Allen says, great to hear. She has such a heart for all these different areas. How difficult or easy will these things be? Will these things be to be accomplished rather? Knowing and seeing how things goes in the political arena. And that is so true, Norma. You know, we have all our plans, but then when you get there, it's not just that person, but they have to deal with a whole lot of other people who try to stop and block progress. Norma says, Candidate Alice, that you're truly a candidate for the people, listening in to you and hearing where your heart lies. And we want to say thank you so much for being who you are. And of course, me, the granddaughter of sharecroppers, you know, you are going to fight for the people of America. So Joan is asking, what about mental health? And Carol is asking you to speak about your background and political views. So whichever one you want to take first. Do you want to break or do you want to do it right now?
Let me break for a second and then I'll come back.
All right. Thank you so much. And we will continue listening in to take that break right now. Go right ahead. We will continue listening in to Angela Peart's song, A Change Has Come. And I want to tell you a little bit about the song until candidate Alice Yancey Teague comes back to join us. When she comes back, she's going to speak to mental health and also her background and her political views. Sydney says, yes, and then we're so tired of being lied to. But I do think we need a third candidate. This is a female, and this is an African American. Right now, the majority of the two, they're in the majority. There is no representation of the minority there. And we have to take that into consideration. I know some of us were born Democrats, others of us, we were born Republicans. And so we stick to what we know. But do we really need change? Do we really want change? A change has come. And I hear Carol saying, and we know that none of these ideas can be passed without a majority vote. She says, I believe without a national platform, it will be extremely difficult. But we want to go for that. We want to bring new ideas to the floor that will include all Americans. So please visit her page. It is www.AliceYanceyTeague. That's AliceYanceyTeague 2020.com. Visit her page and you find out so much more about Alice. She has a people's heart. The granddaughter of sharecroppers, don't forget. So she knows about what the blacks have been through, or the African Americans. The time is right, says Sydney. Norman says, beautiful. I love the target for senior citizens. Bravo. Seeing I'm a senior citizen, even though I don't feel like one. So Norma, our senior citizens right here. She wants to get free transportation for you as well. All right? There's a lot that she has, and you can see it on her website. A lot that she wants to do. It is not unachievable or inachievable. She can achieve it if we all put hands and hearts together and unite. Cleveland, my hubby says, what's her agenda for fundraising before the 3rd of November? And so I know she's listening in to me, even though she takes a break. Pamela, can you make a note of this? Pamela is my right hand this evening, all right? So Pamela, can you make a note of this? Cleveland wants to know what's her agenda for fundraising before the 3rd of November. That's DJ Quinn right there. He wants to know that. What's her agenda for fundraising before the 3rd of November? We spoke a little bit about fundraising, but we want to know what her agenda is. Sydney says, well, this would be my first time voting. So if I already fill out the thing to pick a party, how can I change to independent now? And so, Pam, that's another question. I'm not too versed when it comes to all of this. I don't know if when you go in, you got to vote as a Democrat, or if you got to vote on a ticket being a Republican. I don't know. I go in, I get the ballot, I fill out what I want, and that's about it. So we're going to ask her when she comes back. All right, Sydney? This is what we want. We are asking for a change. This particular song is written by Angela Peart as we're listening into it. Yes, we can. Yes, we can make a change. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Our black brothers and sisters are hurting for too long. Angela wrote the song on the Metro North train to Manhattan the very morning after Barack Obama won the election. She says, I was entering the train when a Caucasian man almost shoved me to the ground to get ahead of me. I gave him the best smile and told him to have a great day. As I looked on the faces of everyone, hatred could be seen. I took my pen in the early morning and started writing the song. Today, here we are in the same situation of racism. May God help us all. Is this the one nation under God? One father's children? And she added, tears, tears, tears. So she wrote this song the morning after President Barack Obama was elected to be the President of the United States of America. Those years are behind us. We're looking forward to another election on the 3rd of November. What will it be? Here it is. Many of us, we knew nothing about Alice Yancey Teague. Or Tig, I'm sorry. Today, now you know. The onus is on you to pass this information around. Help us spread the news that Alice Yancey Teague is here, a presidential candidate running independent for the 2020 election. We're going to join her back. Alice, candidate Alice, are you back with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, she's back here. We got a couple questions that came in later on when you went off. So I'm hoping that Pam got it there. I hope Pam got them all. Let me reiterate before you start right there.
Yes, we can.
Somebody wants to know about mental health. That's Joan Rowe. And then Carol wants you to speak about your background and your political views. And then we have my husband, Cleveland, is asking, what's your agenda for fundraising before the 3rd of November? So I expect you to discuss that before you get off tonight. And there can be changes in your life if you try. All right, and so we will talk about the rest of it. So go ahead, candidate Alice Yancey Teague. And tonight I'm so proud to present her to each and every one. Your first time hearing of her. Let's spread the news. Go right ahead, Alice.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Monica, and thank you for having me back on the air. What about mental illness? That is a good question. And it's a difficult question because a lot of people don't know how to deal with mental ill. And if you look at the police department, they definitely don't know how to deal with mental ill because we had a couple of shootings where a mental ill person died in the hands of the police department. And so what I want to do with mental ill is to make sure that anybody that deals with mental ill will have the training, the extensive amount of training they need to deal with mental illness. Also, I want to have more group homes for mental illness. I want to have more resources so that people to know how to deal with mental illness. And so I think that's a very good question. It has been a subject for a very long time because people don't understand mental illness. And I think that if we train and if we educate, I think that people can deal with mental illness a little bit better. And that's what I'm hoping to do. Now, let's take for granted that all the things that I want to do, and as they say, people will probably fight me on that. But I promise you, if you elect me as your president, I'm going to work hard with the U.S. Senate. I'm going to work hard with the U.S. representatives, the congressmen, to let them know that it is not about color, it's not about politics, but it is about the people. And it's about time that we get somebody that understands about the people. And so mental illness is very dear to my heart. I have a couple of friends that are involved in mental illness. And so we just have to understand. And when we understand mental illness, we can better deal with mental illness. And how you deal with that is that you have to have an extensive amount of training.
Great. Now, can you speak about your background and your political views for a little bit.
Yes. Let's go to my background. As you heard, I have a very long and extensive background. But I am a criminal justice specialist. I'm in the courtroom here in Newton County where I'm fighting for justice for people of color so that they do not get harsh criminal justice sentence for a long period of time of punishment. And then I work with them through my reentry program to try to make a difference to not to avoid jail, but have an alternate to jail or even prison. And so that's my background, being a criminal justice specialist. I've been a criminal justice specialist for over 15 years. I've seen the criminal justice. I see where we need to reform the criminal justice. And I work directly, have worked directly with the judges to try to make a difference with the criminal justice system. So, and that's my background. And let me just share a little bit about my background and the reason why I got into criminal justice. Back in the 60s, my uncle, Wayne Yancey, who you mentioned earlier, Dr. Monica,
Yes.
he was a freedom fighter. My uncle didn't see color. He only wanted to see justice. And one day, he was only 21 years old, down in Holly Spring, Mississippi. He was on the road, and he was in a mysterious car accident, they said, but he was actually driven off the road. And when he was driven off that road, his head went through the windshield.
Wow.
When his head went through the windshield, back then they called it a hearse. We call it an ambulance today. He was lying in a puddle of blood. When he got to the hospital, the doctor never looked at him because back then people of color wasn't of interest. And so that's what made me fight for justice. That's what made me get into the criminal justice system, because I wanted to fight for people because of what happened to my uncle. And when we look at the George Floyd case, we look at the Eric Gardner case, we can even go back as far as Rodney King case.
Yes.
So, and that's why you see the protesting, because they're angry, they're sick and tired. And as I said earlier, I don't blame them for protesting, but I do blame them for the rioting, because there's got to be a better form to this. But this is the only way that they could get attention. And so, with that being said, we have to remember that we are sick and tired, and something needs to be done. We have to remember what Rosa Parks stood for.
Yes.
One day she decided not to give up her seat. She didn't know she was going to start a boycott. She was just tired. She has the right to sit in the front just like anybody else. We have to remember what Dr. King stood for, Frederick Douglass stood for. Harriet ran 100 miles, just a free slave. And so if we remember our history, we can remember what it is to get to peace. And that's the reason why I went into the criminal justice system, because we need a change. And as Sam Cooke says, a change will come. But you've got to put somebody in office that will help make that change. I will help make that change because I believe in change. I believe there's still hope for us. And if we come together, I know that we can have hope. I know that we can bring black and white together. I know that we can bring love together versus hatred. And so that's what I want to do. And that's the reason why my background is what it is, the criminal justice field, because I had to make a decision to fight for injustice. And that's what I want to do. Fight for injustice, fight for a change, and I'm going to fight until I can't fight anymore. And so that's why I encourage you to visit my website and let's see a change together. Don't give up.
That's right.
I know that it makes it seem like it's impossible, but it's not impossible.
It's not.
On November the 3rd, you can show them that change can come. You can show them, because the power is in you, the people. You have the power to change this election, and you can change it by voting for someone who believes to fight for injustice, and that's what I'm planning on doing.
Quick question there, candidate Alice Yancey Teague. One person says this would be their first time voting. So if they already filled out the thing to pick a party, how can they change to independent now? Can you speak to that? Because I don't know how that works.
Yes, I can. We have to remember that we're in a primary. And so when you're in a primary, you can vote Democrat, Republican, or whatever party you want to vote for, because the independent, the Liberal Party, and the write-ins don't even come out until the general election. So you can go ahead and vote, and if you already have voted, it's okay. But on the general election, November the 3rd, you don't have to vote what you voted before. You can vote for who you vote on the write-in. It will not hurt you that if you already voted, that because you gotta vote anyway in November, so you can vote in November, and you can vote as for the write-in candidate. And at this point, your write-in candidate would be Alice Y. Tiggs.
All right, and that will be in all the ballots in the general elections. At the bottom of the ballot, right? It will be a write-in.
Yes, it will be.
Okay. And
Right.
some states, again, will have stickers. Some might not have stickers. But whether or not you have stickers, please write the name in, Alice Y. Tigg, Teague. I've pinned that on Facebook. If you're looking at the video right now, you can see where I have her website on there as well. You can find her. Some of you, I know it's the first you're hearing her name. Look, in December, November, I think I met you. I just happened to go to a function, and she was introduced. We got a presidential candidate sitting amongst us, and that was my first time knowing of her. Everything got to have a first. So guess what? It's our first this evening knowing about Alice Yancey Teague. Do not feel bad. Now that you know about her, what are you going to do? Now that you know about her, how are you going to help her to get from where she is right now into the White House to fulfill all these plans, to unite us and to do much better for our country? Because God knows where we are right here. I do not want another 4 years of this. I got a 20-year-old son that I don't even let him out of the house, except when he goes and walk my dog, Alice. And when he goes to walk our family dog, I don't stop praying till he comes back. Yesterday I was cooking some saltfish. You know what that is? I got to get you some Jamaican saltfish and ackee. And I was doing some saltfish and ackee yesterday, but I didn't have any tomatoes. And I said to him, I want some tomatoes. I want you to go and get some tomatoes. And then my daughter said, Mommy, are you sending him alone? And on second thought, I said, Kendra, you go with him for me, please. Please go with him. And this is where we are, and we should not be at this place in this time. We are, look at the country we are. We're claimed to be the greatest nation on earth. We should not have to be dealing with this at this time. And I don't know about anybody else, but I do not want another 4 years of this mess. It is time that we go out, get that ballot in the general election. At the bottom of it, where we we put in the name Alice Y. Tigg, and let's get this done. All right. So, Alice, before I let you off the hook, my husband has a question, and I better get that question in. What are your plans for fundraising before the 3rd of November?
Our fundraiser plans, and what we're trying to do now, we're trying to have a black tie fundraiser, but because of the COVID-19, they're still limited us, so we're still trying to get around that. We also are trying to do videos where we can do a host fundraiser. So we're still trying to work on that. We're thinking about some tea parties. So we've got some things in the making, but it's very difficult because of our limit space that we can have with people. So if there's anybody out there can do some suggestions, because again, we do need the funds. We are trying to get my signs out there, my billboards out there, especially now because of the November the 3rd election. But we are trying to do all types of fundraisers. And like I said, one of our big fundraisers that we are planning on in August is a black tie affair. Those tickets are $100, and we are planning on seeing that we can go over 50 people and we won't know that until they lift some restrictions. So we're still in a crossfire with that because of the COVID-19.
And until we can get that up and going, there's always the website, www.AliceYanceyTip2020.com. Just look right across there on that banner. It says contributions. Just hit that, and you can go ahead and make your contributions. Money is needed for all of this, guys. And if we're going to get her there, we need to support the cause. Presidential candidate running independent for the 2020 election, Alice Yancey Teague. It was so nice having you on tonight. Your final words to the people of the United States of America before you go. And I hope we have addressed all the questions that were posted here tonight.
Yes, I hope that we have addressed all the questions. Again, I want to thank you, Dr. Monica and Minister Cleve, for having me on the show. It has been my pleasure, and I hope that I was able to answer the questions for the American people. One thing I do want to say before I leave, it's important that you get out there and vote. If we want something to change, let's vote for the change. We can protest, but let's protest in peace. And if we want to see a better tomorrow, let's vote. In order for a change to come, we have to vote. And I might not be perfect. I might not be someone you don't know. All I'm asking to you is to give me a chance to work for the American people. And I will not bring division. I will bring love. I will bring peace. I will bring togetherness. I will hear the voice of the American people. And I will wake up every morning fighting for the American people, because I want the American people to believe that this is America and that we can come together. We can unite, and we can be one country. And so I'm asking you, if you're listening, please don't give up on hope. Please don't give up on change, because a change will come. And if you vote me on November the 3rd, I will make sure that we together can see the change. So let's vote on November the 3rd. Let's make a change together. And when we make the change together, the connection together, we can move forward. Our chains have been broken. It's been over 400 years, and we're still dealing with the same stuff we dealt with during slavery. Let's make a change. Don't stay home. Vote. Don't criticize. Vote. Don't let anybody stop you from voting. If you're mad, be mad enough to vote. And let's make a difference together. I ask that you visit my website, Alice Yancey Teague 2020. Look on that website. Donate, volunteer, do some fundraisers. Get in touch with my campaign manager, Pamela Phillips, 776-648-5462. That number again is 770-648-5462, 770-648-5462, and let's make a change together. I love you. I need you, and I want to make a difference, but I cannot make a difference without your help. And let's see a change together. Let's keep hope alive, and let's see change together. And together, we can grow this country to where it should be and make it great again, because we are the people of greatness. And I thank you for listening to me, and God bless you. God bless America. God bless the day you was born. Now let's get going, and let's vote on November the 3rd.
Alice Yancey Teague, presidential candidate running independent, right in for the 2020 election. God bless you too, presidential candidate Alice. Thank you so much. I just have a couple of comments that I want to get in before you go as we're making our way on out of here. Marcia Watson Sayers, Minister Marcia Watson Sayers, she says, it's time that Jehovah has a chance to inhabit the White House. And we know that you being a woman of the cloth, you will be taking him right up in there with you. Doug Vogui Sasita says, I'll vote for her 1,000 times if I was in America. All my family members in America, I'll work out to vote for her. So Doug is going to get with his family members. He's going to tell them about you so that they can go out and vote for you. And I hope that by now, between now and the 3rd of November, that you will find some time to come back on the airwaves of Caribbean Gospel Radio FM so that we can tell the people again who you are. And
yes, I will.
Thank you. And Velma says, great information. There's somebody who goes by the name of Jamaican Foods, and she says that she just sent your link to all of her contacts. So we want to say
thank you.
Thanks. We want to say thanks to each and everyone for coming on in tonight and helping us spread the word. Norma Allen, I want to end with this comment. Norma says, although it may be hard, yes, it is achievable. All right, we're hoping there won't be any dishonesty in this year's election. May God rule in all things in this area. Thank you so much, she says. That's Norma. She says, it was a pleasure listening to you. All the very best in your candidacy. And so, Norma, we hope that you too we will all get the experience this year, because I've never done anything right in. But this year, 2020, the year of vision, I am seeing real clearly what is going to happen if we do not put Alice Yancey Tig in that White House. All right, so thanks for the message, says Carol. Love the message, but I cannot support this candidate, she says. She's unknown in June 2020. All right, Carol, she is unknown in June 2020. I mean, you are free to support whoever you want. But here it is. We have somebody who's giving us hope, and we're going to work to make her known to the other folks. I didn't know who President Barack Obama, before he was president, let me make this clear. I didn't know who Barack Obama was, but I gave him my vote. I had no clue except that I knew that he was a black man. He was not even up there in my top. I had no clue where he came from, anything like that. But tell you what, he got my vote because I needed change. And I will give my vote to a candidate who is eye to eye with me, because that's what I need. I need change. And so each one of us, we have to make up our minds. And again, she might be unknown right now. 2020, the 3rd of November will be general elections. She might be unknown right now. But let me tell you something, the underdog. I remember, president, before you go, presidential candidate. I remember in 2017, I was in Louisiana. Are you still here with me?
Yes, I am.
I was here in Louisiana. I was in Louisiana, rather. I had just left Georgia and gone to Louisiana. And so, of course, you know, Georgia, they have a team called the Dirty Birds, the Falcons.
Yeah.
And so, me, you know, my first time I came to America, I was living in Connecticut. So, New England, so we were always cheering for New England. And let me tell you something, that year, I will never forget what happened. We watched New England Patriots. They were basically out of the game. The Dirty Birds had them. All right, the Falcons had them, and everybody was cheering. And because we came from Georgia, people thought that we were going to be cheering for Georgia, and we were with the Patriots all the way. And what do you know? I don't know how many people remember that football game in 2017. That was that football. Well, what is it called again? That big game where you go and you get your chips and your wings. The Super Bowl, thank you. And I watched that game that year. And let me tell you something, from out of nowhere came the Patriots. And I know the Georgians don't like me right now. But out of nowhere, my team came shooting from the back. And bam! We made it. Took it home that year. Guess what? The people, the Falcons, they relaxed because they were known. They had the game going. But let me tell you something, the Patriots decide that it was their time. And even
Station pointing souls to Christ. Gospel Live 365.
When you book with Daily Vacations, you are already on vacation. Daily, we make vacation dreams come alive. Whether you're planning a relaxing escape, a family reunion, honeymoon, historical or religious tour, expect a personalized level of service tailored to you. Relax. Let us handle the details. Call us at 954-406-9841 or email us at dailyvacations@outlook.com or visit us at www.dailyvacay.com. That's DALEYVACAY